Artificial intelligence runs on silicon chips. But what if computers could use actual human brain cells instead? Now, that's the question researchers in Australia are trying to answer with a new type of biological computer that combines living human neurons with traditional computing hardware. The technology has already been trained to play video games, including Doom, but researchers say its potential applications could extend far beyond gaming into healthcare, drug discovery, and machine learning. Here's the story.
Australian researchers have developed a biological computer that uses living human brain cells grown on a silicon chip. The technology has been created by a biotech company, Cortical Labs, which is studying how human neurons can be integrated with computing systems. These so-called biological computers contain around 200,000 living human brain cells. The cells are grown from stem cells derived from blood donations and are connected to a specialized computer chip known as CL1.
The CL1 system interfaces biology and silicon computing using electricity as a shared language. We pattern that electricity to input information into the cultures and then decode the electrical activity of these neural cells to try and get an answer.
Researchers have now trained these brain cells to play the classic 1990s first-person shooter game, Doom. The experiment follows earlier tests where the same technology was trained to play the simple game Pong. In Doom, the neurons are exposed to a much more complex digital environment that requires exploration, movement, and targeting. Initially, the cells performed like a beginner player, struggling to understand the game environment. Over time, researchers observed the neurons adapting to the digital stimuli and improving their responses. The cells started moving through the game world more effectively and were able to target enemies more regularly.
There's a range of tasks that we've explored, everything from classic Pong to people now doing Doom and Pokemon, even interfacing them with LLMs. But to me as a scientist, the most remarkable thing is to see the beauty of these biological structures able to reorganize themselves and show a rudimentary form of intelligence with such simple structures and yet with such powerful results.
To make this possible, researchers converted the game environment into patterns of electrical signals that the brain cells could understand. When different events occur inside the game, such as an enemy appearing, electrical signals are sent to the neurons through electrodes on the chip.
From this tiny little chip to the computer, they're connected via these electrodes, and then a programmer can never even have to look at these from the cloud and do some Python code and program them and send in electrical currents and see how they respond, and if you can actually teach them to play games like we've shown or learn other types of tasks and do some cool computation that way.
Different patterns of neuron activity can produce actions such as moving left, moving right, or firing a weapon. The research team uses this data to adjust input signals and train the cells to respond more effectively. The experiment shows that biological neural systems can learn from real-time feedback and complete goal-based tasks.
Our neural cultures have been explored for a variety of tasks, including robotics, real-time learning tasks that are similar to AI, as well as healthcare, medicine, disease modeling, drug screening, and even personalized medicine.
The CL1 chip is not designed only for gaming experiments. Cortical Labs says that the same technology could be used in areas such as drug testing, disease modeling, healthcare research, and machine learning systems. Unlike traditional artificial intelligence systems that run on silicon chips, biological computing uses living neural networks that function in a way inspired by the human brain.
The signal comes from the computer, goes through the internet, through this Ethernet cable to our onboard computer, which is hidden underneath here. And then the signal to stimulate or read the activity from the cells goes from the computer to the device, back to the computer, and back through the internet to your other computer, which is where you did your coding, which is where we see the activity, all those really cool things. And people are accessing these devices from all over the world right now, live via the Cortical Cloud, which is pretty cool.
Researchers say the human brain can operate with extremely low energy consumption. The brain uses around 20 watts of power, while modern computing systems require far more energy for complex tasks. Scientists are exploring whether biological computers could eventually offer more efficient ways of processing information. However, the technology is still in an early stage. The cells have a lifespan of around 6 months and currently cannot produce consistent programmable results like conventional computers. Researchers say that the goal is not to replace artificial intelligence, but to develop a different type of computing system that uses the learning abilities of biological cells.